What's up, Foundation? What's up, YouTube? It's me, your big partner cartoon, the Village Storyteller. Man, I'm back again, man, to finish part two, man. Finish part two of The Mirror. I'm not gonna hold it up. I'm not gonna hold it up because I know it's been a few days, been a long, too many days, waiting on part two. So I'm gonna get straight to it. Might overlap the ending of part one. But anyway, so when the guy who ran the truck into the donut shop came across and he was busting and blasting up into the coffee shop, the guy that had been trying to talk to Sheila had came out the back and started dumping. Boom, 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 boom. But now the other guy, you know what I'm saying, he hitting matrix moves unbelievably fast. And he would flip and come back and he would start shooting at the other guy. Other guy was doing the same thing. But now the other guy bounced off of a piece of the table, boom, and hit the dude. They start fighting, and they start fighting with a form of martial arts that people didn't really know about. People had never seen before. The kicks were so fast and the punches and blows were so fast and the blocking techniques that were being used was otherworldly. And Sheila was trying to peek and look and she couldn't believe it. She just like, man, this guy here, what is going on? What is going on? Then the mask came off. Like I said, she couldn't believe that she was looking at the same guy that had been trying to talk to her. The same guy that was fighting now seemed like to protect everyone. The other guy looked exactly like him, identical to him, as I was saying. They fought out into the middle of the streets. Like I say, when the police pulled up, they drew down. They didn't know whether to shoot or what to do. They just didn't know what to do because they seen two identical beings fighting. And the way they were fighting, at the speed they were fighting, the police was shook. The police was like, wait a minute, what is this? So the guy who had the mask on at first, boom, he leaped. When he leaped, he landed on the roof of the donut shop. The other dude leaped up there. He landed too, and they started fighting again. Boom, boom, boom. And the blows sounded exceptionally louder than two regular people fighting, it would sound. You know what I'm saying? Of course you hear, flesh eating flesh, but this sounded like stone hitting stone. When the police drew down at top, the dudes leaped again, and they were gone. They were gone. So people start running and hollering and screaming and getting up. The people in the coffee shop start getting up, and they couldn't believe it. Sheila couldn't believe what was going on. When the police started making their rounds trying to figure out who was who and what is what, they ran up into the donut shop because they seen them come out of there fighting. A lot of the people that were in there immediately told the police that the other guy that started fighting the other guy always came into the shop to speak to her, and they all pointed at Sheila. And the police like, what? So you had some more dudes that ran up. They were with the police, but they had on black suits. They ran over there and just gaffled up Sheila quick, bang. And dog marched her to this black van. Throw her in the van. She hollering, screaming, "Where am I going? Who are you? What are you? What are you?" And they would tell her, "Shut up, it'll all be explained." So they drove off with Sheila real fast. When Sheila, the van was blacked out on the inside. She couldn't see where she was going. She kept trying to ask. It was two dudes that was back there with her. Looked at like mannequins. They were just silent. She kept trying to talk to them. She kept trying to find out what was going on, what was the matter. They wouldn't even talk. So eventually she just be quiet and rode. They drove for about an hour. She didn't know where she was. She couldn't see out. She couldn't tell left, right, up from down. They took her out the car and they took her into a big white building that she had not seen before. She didn't know where she was. When they got her in the building, they put her in a room, and smoke came down and sterilized her body. She didn't know what it was, but what it was a decontamination fog that killed any type foreign particles or parasites that might be on you. You know what I'm saying? And anyway, they took her clothes and gave her some more clothes, and she put them on. And she just kept hollering, "What is going on? Who are you people? What is going on?" You had a lot of people walking around with white lab coats on. You had military dudes standing there with the military issue rifles and the hats and all of those stuff. Army dudes. And nurses running around back and forth. And she kept trying to find out what's going on. Why am I here? Who are you people? Where am I at? And they kept telling her, all will be revealed to you in time. They put her in a padded cell, and she sat there. She screamed for a little bit, then she hollered for a little bit. Nothing happened. So after about an hour, they brought her out the cell, and they took her to a room. Had nothing but a table and 4 chairs. They told her sit down. Sheila sat down, and she just kept wanting to know who are you people? Where am I at? What's going on? What's going on? So one of the dudes that was standing there told her, just be quiet, it's going to be okay. When Mr. Pickett comes in, he'll speak with you. She was like, well, who is Mr. Pickett? Who is Mr. Pickett? You'll know. You'll find out. After about 10 more minutes, Mr. Pickett walked in. Mr. Pickett had on a white lab coat like he was a scientist, looked like a real nerd. He had a female with him with a clipboard with a pen in it that looked like she was taking notes. And when he sat down, he reached out and reached his hand out to shake Sheila's hand, and she shook his hand. He told her, like, I'm Dr. Pickett. She was like, okay, Dr. Pickett, where am I at? And who are you people? He said, where you at is at an undisclosed location that we can't tell you right now, but you're at an undisclosed location. And she thought in her mind, undisclosed location, I've only been driving for an hour. I should know where I'm at. But it wasn't just an hour. It was a lot longer than that. But what the technique they used on her, she wouldn't understand it, and they didn't need for her to understand it. And so anyway, they let her think whatever she wanted to think on that. But anyway, he explained who he was, and he told her, how long have you been having discussions with subject one? She's like, what do you mean having discussions with subject one? What are you talking about? And they told her, the young man, the gentleman that was coming into the shop speaking with you, how long has he been coming to speak with you? And she told me, she said, he's been coming to speak with me for a week or so, a little over a week. You know what I'm saying? A little while. Why? They said, okay. And they asked her, had you ever seen him before? And she told them, no, I don't know who he is. I never seen him before, but he would always come in. She said, until this last day when the other guy who looks just like him came and tried to kill everybody. She said, I didn't want anything to do with them because I've been seeing him on the news and like he's been on a killing spree. And I've been trying to tell him, stay away from me. I was going to call the police. I was going to do all this and do all that. I didn't want anything to do with him. And then I seen when they started fighting that it was 2 of them. And they said, yeah, we understand. She said, so what is going on? Could somebody please tell me what's going on? And so he said, you know, Sheila, I'm fixing to tell you a wild story that you probably not going to believe, but we know you're going to believe it because when we tell you what we're going to tell you, you know what you went through many years ago. She looked at him. Her antennas went up because she remembered what happened a long time ago. So all them years ago, they brought up the fact that they knew she had went through what she went through and had a child. And was released, and she never seen the children. She never seen nothing about what had ever happened to her again. It was like a dream to her. And she was like, well, who are you people? Are you people are the one who took me? Are you people are the one who did this and did that, did this? And they was like, no. We'll answer the questions at our speed. So they said, look, the child you had was subject number 1 who was coming to you and speaking with you in the shop. She was like, that's the boy I had? And they were like, yeah. So she said, well, who was the other guy? And that's when they explained to her, the other guy is subject number 2. He's the other child you had. She's like, what do you mean other child? I only had one child. Now remember, she was knocked out. They put her to sleep. She don't know how many children she had. They said, no, you had more than one. So immediately in her mind, she was like, I had twins? I had more than one? I had twins? And so they explained to her that, yeah, she had more than one child and they were identical. She said, well, okay, if these are my children, why are they trying to kill me? They said subject number 1 is a total different mindset from subject number 2. Subject number 2 has a deep hatred for you. And the only thing that's in his heart and on his mind is to destroy you. It took him this long to get to you because he couldn't get a bead on where you were. And when he did, he came. She was like, so the guy that was speaking to me, what's up? I mean, what's going on? And they told her subject number 1 is going to try to protect you with everything he has in him. So she's trying to take all this in. She said, you mean to tell me I had twins and one of them wants to kill me and one of them wants to protect me? And the one that wants to kill me is for what? Why? And they went on to try to explain to her how they feel his mind is not right. Even subject number 1, mind is correct. Subject number 2, mind is not right. He cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And the only thing that's on his mind is that you abandoned him, you left him, and he found out about you, about who you were, and you were his mother through some negligence of the company. And now only thing he knows is that he wants to destroy you. But subject number 1 is not going to let him. So she started asking him about the style of fighting and the way it sounded and the way it looked. And they went on to explain her that both her children were a part of an experiment. They were experiments. That they were hit with certain type serums that enhanced their agility, enhanced their strength, that it enhanced everything about them, their sight, their smell, that they to the point to where they're not even really human anymore. And she's just tripping on this, like, what? What? So she wanted to know, how are you going to protect me? She said, we're going to protect you here. She said, okay. She said, okay. She said, okay. She said, I don't know what's going on. She said, I don't want to be a part of this. I just want to live my life. I just don't want to be, I don't want to be killed by what you call them, number 2. She said, I don't want to be killed by number 2. They said, we're going to try to protect you. It's our fault. I told them it's our fault. Lo and behold, they weren't able to protect her like that. Within 2 days of them talking to her, explaining other stuff to her, an alarm went off. The compound was under attack. Subject number 2 had appeared, and he had vengeance. He had death on him. Man, he was cut through security like a hot knife through butter. He was coming. He was knocking down walls, tearing down doors, breaking security systems. He knew Sheila was in there, and he wanted her. He wanted her bad. Everything in his DNA, everything in his psyche, in his mind wasn't right now, but everything in his mind told him he must destroy her. And he was coming. They were shooting at him. They couldn't stop him. They couldn't hit him. They couldn't do nothing. He had pinpoint accuracy. Pow, 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 pow. Throwing knives to whatever. He was coming. But subject number 1 came too. And they was trying to get Sheila up out of there. They were trying to get her up out of there. When they seen that subject number 2 was wrecking shop, The doctor and a couple of army dudes, they ran to Sheila's room and told her, look, come on, let's go. We got to get you out of here. We can't stop him. We can't stop him. She was like, oh my goodness. So they was running, they was running across a open courtyard when all of a sudden subject number 2 just landed. Boom! He landed in the middle of the courtyard, in the middle of the cement, left a dent in the ground about that deep. And he was looking at the ground, and he looked up real slow. When he looked up, his eyes locked with Sheila's, and he growled. He shot for her. Right before he made contact with her, subject number 1 landed in front of him and hit him. Boom! When he hit him, he knocked him about 15 feet across the yard. And they was locking up. They lock it up. They weren't talking. They weren't saying anything. The doctors was running, and they was trying to get Sheila out the side door that left the courtyard. As they were running, subject number 2 was fighting with subject number 1. But he took a metal shard that he had in a compartment of his pants, and he threw it. And it shot, boom, and hit Sheila in the leg and crippled her to the point where she fell. Boom. When she fell, the 2 army dudes, they turned around with the guns, and they was putting them on subject number 1 and 2, trying to protect her. The doctor was trying to get Sheila off the ground, and she was limping real bad. Her foot was messed up because the shard had hit her, not in her leg, but it had hit her in her Achilles heel. And her foot was inoperable. She couldn't walk on it. And she kept falling to the ground, and the doctor kept telling her, get up. We got to get up out of here. He's going to kill us all. But now subject number 1 has something to say about that. They battle royal. The army dudes didn't know who to shoot because they were identical. And so the doctor told them, shoot them both. So the army dudes opened up. Both of the dudes jumped. They couldn't hit him. And when they landed, boom, subject number 1 hit one army dude. Boom, subject number 2 hit him. The other army dude crushed their throats, killed them both. Subject number 1 immediately placed himself in front of Sheila. And the only reason why subject number 1 did that because he knew his life was in danger from the army dude. He had to neutralize that threat. But he stepped in front of Sheila and he told her, get up, go. She said, I can't. My foot. He's cut my Achilles heel. He's cut my Achilles tendon. So subject number 2 came on with it. Boom, bap, 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 boom, 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 bap, 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 boom, 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 bap, bap. Him and subject number 1, they going at it. The fight couldn't go on for long. They kicked up a dust cloud out there fighting, and it was cement ground. In the end, subject number 2 caught subject number 1 by the throat and went to crush it, and crushed it so quick, wham! He tore subject number 1's, which was Sheila's protector, tore his throat out. Wham! Subject number 1 fell face first in the ground. Boom! And he died. Subject number 2 looked down at him, made sure he was dead, and he looked up at Sheila. And he growled. Dr. Pickett tried to get in front of him and tell him, get back, you monster, you beast, get back. Sheila was crawling on the ground trying to make her way to the door, to the gate. Subject number 2 started walking real slow. When he got to the doctor, he took his hand, wham, and shoved it straight through Dr. Pickett's skull. and pulled his hand out with some of Dr. Pickett's brain dripping from it. He fell. Subject number 2 looked up again, and he looked at Sheila, and he said, "Now you die." And he started coming toward her again. When he stood over, he cocked his hand back like this here, and he was preparing himself to drive it through her. And right as he went to drive it through her, a shadow passed over. And before he could drive his hand through her, boom, a person landed on top of subject number 2 with a steel pole about 2 feet long. And he drove it through the top of subject number 2's head. Bang! When he drove it through the top of subject number 2's head, subject number 2 fell. He died. The dude who had landed on his back had on a hat, but the hat was pulled down real low. And Sheila couldn't, she was just shaking. But she knew that subject number 2 was dead. But now who is this? Who is this? The guy looked up real slow with the hat, and he looked at Sheila. And he was identical to subject 1 and subject 2. And her eyes got real big. She couldn't believe it. And the dude told her, "I'm number 3." And leaped. Whoof. And was gone. They didn't tell Sheila she had 3. She had triplets. That's it, y'all. Beat me for the next one. Peace.